Alright, today we're going to talk about Chapter 13. It's two different types of subtraction problems. One type of subtraction problem is problems about comparing and finding the difference between two quantities. And I'm going to draw some charts to kind of illustrate that. And then the other one is elapsed time. And for both of these types of problems, we use the operation we use is subtraction. Alright, so right now the Diamondbacks are doing really good. This is one of their best seasons in a long time. It's about midway, actually over midway through the season. The Diamondbacks have won 52 games and they have lost 33 games. I made this little chart here to compare because we're talking about comparing. And a lot of times in sports, guys compare each other. To determine who's the best. Okay, Dodgers are 55. They have 55 wins and 29 wins. They are the best team in the league, and it just so happens that the Diamondbacks and the Dodgers are in the same conference. I think the Diamondbacks are like have the third best record in the league right now, so they're doing excellent. But it just so happens out of all the divisions, Diamondbacks and Dodgers, some of the two of the best teams are in the same divisions. So when we're comparing them, let's compare wins. All right. So what's a distractor? What are numbers that are distracting you from comparing wins? Well, the number of losses. Okay. So we're not going to talk about the number of losses right now because those are kind of distractors. Alright, so I'm going to draw a little chart. I'm going to pause the video and draw a little chart so we can compare these numbers. Alright, so here's my chart. It's the number of wins. I guess I can label my bottom axis, and this is teams. Okay, so the purple is the D-backs. Their color used to be purple, and sometimes they still wear purple, so Diamondbacks are purple. Dodgers, of course, are blue. That's their color. And then Phillies are red. So this right here represents the number of wins. This scale over here goes by 10. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 wins. So that's the number of wins. So let's talk about comparing. If you notice, the height of these two bars are different. It's just a little bit different. About that much. So if I go from there to there, there's about that much of difference. See that, guys? Alright, so how much difference is that? Well, what you're going to do is you're going to take 52 and 55, and you are going to subtract 52 from 55 to see how much difference there is in between these two numbers. So I'm going to take 55 and I'm going to subtract 52. Take 55 minus 52, the answer is going to be 3. Okay? So there are 3 games difference for the wins, number of wins, in between the Dodgers and the Diamondbacks. So hopefully the Diamondbacks, by the end of the season, close that gap. Right now, the difference between them is 3. Alright, I'm sure the Phillies fans won't like this problem, so I apologize if you're a Phillies fan. But right now, they happen to have the worst record in the league. They only have 28 wins to the D-backs 52, and the Dodgers 55. So let's compare the Diamondbacks and the Phillies. So in order to do that, I'm going to erase the Dodgers real quick because we just want to focus on Diamondbacks and Phillies. What's the difference in between those two lines? You can see this is a lot shorter. The Phillies number of wins is a lot shorter than the number of wins that the Diamondbacks have. So what is the difference for this problem? Erase this little scratch work over here. You can see there's a huge difference. It goes from there all the way to there. So visually there's a huge amount of difference. If you can look at that much. So mathematically, if we're going to find out the difference, what two numbers are we going to subtract in order to find out how much these two teams are different? Well, you're going to take the Diamondbacks wins, which is 52 wins. And what are you going to subtract from that? Well, we're talking about the Phillies, so how many wins do the Phillies have? 28. So subtract those two. So there's a difference of 24 wins. So the Phillies have to win 24 more games in order to be equal with the Diamondbacks. That's a huge difference in baseball. So hopefully that helps you understand comparing and how comparing problems, you're looking at things that are different, and if you're looking at things that are different, you're finding the difference, which is a subtraction problem. Okay, so one more thing before I can check off that we've learned problems about comparing. Let's write a little equation or formula that will help us understand all comparing problems. So you're going to take the greater value, which in this case Diamondbacks have 52 wins and Phillies have, I forget how many wins, I think they had 23. And you're going to subtract those. So you're taking the greater value and you're subtracting the lesser. And then you get your difference. So let's have G represent greater, L represent lesser, and D represent difference. Another way to write that would be G minus L equals D. Okay, so whatever the greater number is, that goes here, 52. Whatever the lesser number is, that goes there, 23. And that is going to equal your difference, or your answer. Alright, let's talk about a different type of problem. Problems comparing we are done with. Check. Now elapsed time. Right now it is 2017. Okay? I was born in 1984. I think that's when the Ninja Turtles were created. So we are going to subtract those two problems to see how much time has elapsed since the time I was born until current time. So let's go ahead and write a little equation. Which one is earlier and which one is later? Well, earlier is 1984. That was earlier than it is today. So we're going to call this earlier. We're going to subtract the earlier date from the later date. Okay? And when you do that, you're going to get 33. Okay? That's how old I am, 33 years old. Let's do a different problem using this equation. Let's call L is later, E is earlier, and D is your difference. So that's going to be later minus earlier equals D. L-E-D. Alright, so the book, this is a problem from the book. The book likes to mix history and math, which is cool. It's good to branch out like that. Anyway, so we have two dates. Columbus sailed the ocean blue in 1492. That's when he discovered America for the Spaniards. The Spanish, before that, thought the world was flat, and there's a whole history lesson on that. But anyway, 1492, he sailed across the ocean and discovered the Americas for the Spaniards. The Pilgrims didn't come until 1620. So how much time, these are two different dates, so how much time has elapsed since Columbus discovered America and when the Pilgrims came? So let's use this, later, earlier. Which one is later? Well, we know that Columbus went first, so he's earlier. So we're going to take 14. I can write a 14. 1492. That's our earlier date, E. And we're going to subtract our later date, which is 1620. We're going to take our earlier date and subtract it from our later date. So go ahead and do this problem real fast. This is going to be 5, it's going to be 11, 10, minus 9, 2, 5, 9. So it was 128 years from the time that Columbus came until the Pilgrims. That is a long time, 128 years.